Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. And today on the show, I have Stevie Lee Woods and Steve Leach from Nashville Roadhouse Live. And so you're going to want to listen and hear from them on their background and history and about the show. And so you want to stay tuned. In just a minute, we'll get right to that interview. Here's the deal. Christmas is right around the corner. It'll be here in Branson in a couple weeks. And so if you're thinking about where should I go for a Christmas break, Christmas in Branson starts literally November 1st and it goes through the end of the year. And so if you want to come here and meet your family at Thanksgiving time, or even after Christmas, right after Christmas is a huge travel time as kids are out of school, Branson is the perfect place to come and meet with the rest of your family. You can do lots of shopping here. We have some of the most amazing Christmas shows in the country here. Also Christmas lights. If you like Christmas light, there's really probably not a better place than Branson. You have 6.5 million lights out at Silver Dollar City. We have 3 Christmas light drive-thrus, and the Lights of Joy Christmas light drive-thru this year will be all new lights as well. And so it's just a great time of year to come and celebrate Christmas in Branson, and we celebrate Christmas for the real reason, which is the birth of Jesus Christ. So we're going to be back in just a second, and you're going to hear more about Nashville Roadhouse Live.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and today on the show we have 2 gentlemen from Nashville Roadhouse Live. I've got Stevie Lee Woods and Steve Leach, and so welcome back to the show, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having us, and thank you all for tuning in. We're so glad to be here, man. So what's been up since we've been here?
Well, we've been working on this show for a year and trying to keep people coming to Branson, and I know you've been working hard. You guys have. And so maybe somebody didn't see the interview last year, but just tell, and you started during, I say, the craziest time in the country with COVID, but give people a little bit of history about your background, and then we'll hear from Steve as well.
Well, everybody, back in 1993, I secured a record deal, which was kind of cool, and it was on a major label. I released my first record that went to number 1. It went to number 1, a song called Is There Anything Left? And it did really, really well, which afforded me the opportunity to be signed by several different agencies that took me around the world playing country music and a little bit of rock and roll music, but agencies like Buddy Lee Attractions, the William Morris Agency, and I was on tour with the greats. I mean, I started off with Lorrie Morgan and John Michael Montgomery and worked my way up onto the Country Across America tour with Brooks and Dunn and a whole host of people. So I've been there, and I've been performed probably in most countries. I've been to Asia and all of Europe and all of those faraway places. So it's been really cool. And now I find myself in Branson with a theater and a show called Nashville Roadhouse Live, which I don't know if I told you about this, and I couldn't have told you this last time because it didn't happen last time, but Nashville Roadhouse Live, across the awards shows here in Branson, we have more nominations for different categories across those 3 awards shows than any other show in the history of Branson. So y'all come out and check it out. But that's
and we'll talk more about the show, here in a little bit. But Steve, welcome to the show, and
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and background.
Oh wow, born and raised Central Pennsylvania, close to Penn State. Lifelong Nittany Lion fan. So I grew up. Parents. Neither one of them were musical. Started playing saxophone in the school band at 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Started taking piano about 10. Got a guitar at 12.
And you're doing everything. Wow.
And I really wanted a bass, but three of us buddies were all wanted guitars, but we had to get different things for Christmas. So I was the one that got the guitar, and the other one got the bass. So we ended up playing in a band together, and of course did the high school garage band thing, and toured around. I toured in a Queen tribute band for a few years, early 90s. Gave that up to get a real job, and stayed with that company for 20 some years until I left Pennsylvania and moved to Branson. And if there's ever a second interview, then I can get way deeper on that. But came to Branson on a wing and a prayer, and I started out with at Sight and Sound building scenery. I was a welder and machinist and scenery maintenance, and I had no desire. I actually never had any desire to like do this for a living. It was always weekend warrior thing. So the Sight and Sound thing lasted for a few years, and then I was head mechanic at a golf course for a few years, and ended up for the first time in my life without a job, and got Robbie Blackwood, who I ended up playing in a church band with, talked me into this Billy Dean audition, and I ended up 2014 starting with Billy at the Starlight Theater, and did that whole run with him and some touring afterwards, and had a couple odd years with the Branson Tribute Theater, which is now gone, and did some sub work, sub for Brian Zerby at Legends for a month, which was great. Grand Country subbed, and then in 2020 I got the call to do this, and it was I was like, what are you thinking with trying to open
I said that to myself.
A new show in a theater that's been closed, opening a new show during an epidemic, but he did it. So
Yeah.
It's really cool. I got to tell you, and I'm just going to add, I don't know if he knows this, but remember when Billy Dean came to town in 2014? The guy that brought Billy Dean to town was me.
Oh.
And he came with me and T. Graham Brown and somebody else, Brian White. And down at the Landing, we did center stage at the Landing. And one thing led to another, and Billy started speaking to the people at the Starlight, and that's how all that transpired. And it worked out well for you and for Billy and everybody else.
Yeah.
But,
no, he did the Christmas show first, the toy shop, and then
that
decided.
was after that, though. That was after the
Right.
toy shop was after. Yeah,
Right.
Was right after that show we did at the Landing center stage, which was so cool because I remember we went out to then the Rowdy Beaver, me and Billy and his wife and the entire band. And we were just talking, and the guys from the Starlight were there as well, so hanging out, just trying to get the show together.
I always think it's interesting how people end up where they are, and a lot of it has to do with connections and who that may know somebody or know of an opportunity. And our episode last week, we had two young entertainers that came to town and started networking and just doing any odd jobs, and it just, it kept growing for them, and so now they're in shows, and so it's really, it's neat to see that. Now you kind of have, like I saw you the other day playing a bass. It's pretty like a modern, pretty cool bass. Do you call it something different, or what do you call like?
Okay, so that is a Ned Steinberger design electric upright, and it's a 5-string electric upright, made in Prague, I believe. I've never spent that much on an instrument before, so it's kind of my baby. But it does a good like doghouse tone, which is what I was playing the other day. So we were doing some standard plunky type bass parts, and but it's got a really nice magnetic pickup setting where you can do the fretless work, and it sings a lot better.
Tone is amazing.
So I play that for, 30% of our first half, our ballad section.
Yeah.
And it's really a cool instrument, and I get a lot of compliments on how it sounds, and and how I play it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Looks cool, doesn't it?
Yes, it looks cool too. It's a cool bass. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break right here, and then we're going to talk more about Nashville Roadhouse Live in just a minute. Hang tight, and we'll be right back.
Live from the Branson Star Theater, it's the all-new Nashville Roadhouse Live. Come see Stevie Lee Woods perform his top hits as well as some of your country and rock and roll favorites.
Hey, what do I know?
Joining Stevie on stage are 6 world-class musicians who will have you singing and dancing long after the show is done. Country meets rock and roll at the Branson Star Theater with Stevie Lee Woods and Nashville Roadhouse Live. Voted Best New Show of 2020. Nashville Roadhouse Live. Get your tickets at BransonStarTheater.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We are talking to Stevie Lee Woods and Steve Leach from Nashville Roadhouse Live. And so maybe somebody hasn't been in town for a couple years. Maybe they haven't seen the show, heard of the show. So tell people, what is Nashville Roadhouse Live?
Nashville Roadhouse Live is a mixture of country and rock and roll. There's something in that show for everybody. If you're a diehard country fan and you like George Jones, you're going to hear George Jones, from George Jones to Willie Nelson. And if you're into the classic rock, you're going to hear everything from Seeger to Aerosmith to Zeppelin. You're going to hear it all. And, I got to say, and I'm kudos to my band, they kill it.
Because you say it's a little bit of country and a little bit of rock and roll.
Country meets rock and roll.
Yeah, country, something like that.
It's so cool. The show is really cool from the perspective it never stops. I mean, we are moving constantly. When we've hit the stage at the open, nobody lags. It's constantly moving. And that's so cool. And we've had a lot of people talk about that to us, how high energy the show is. And these guys make it easy for me to get out there and entertain because they take and they are on the mark each and every time. And I give props for that because these guys got it going on.
Yeah. So you're Friday and Saturday nights normally, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you guys are also bringing in guest artists. Talk a little bit about that.
I have guest artists every weekend, most every weekend, I should say. And we try to bring in national acts. And we opened the show, as we said earlier, during COVID. And we've had people like Confederate Railroad, Colin Ray, Aaron Tippin, Jeff Carson, list goes on. And we have many coming this fall. But if we don't have a national act, we have local stars here in Branson that come on and promo their show so people see something different every single week. And the other thing that's so cool, y'all, you can see my guys with every one of the national acts, almost every one of the national acts, backing those acts up. And you would swear that they brought their band, but they're actually using the Nashville Roadhouse Live band. Which
wow.
Is so
I
cool.
I didn't know that. That's pretty amazing. So you
guys.
guys got to learn new material.
Yes.
But they're good at it.
Yeah.
They read charts very well.
Yeah. So the besides that, there are actually other shows in the theater as well, and
Right.
and so those are going on throughout the week and different times.
Let's see. Let me think what's in there because it just changed. We've got Phil Dalton, Theater of Illusions, and he's got a great show. It's a great family show. If you have kids and you want to bring them to a morning show, it's 10 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And they'll keep you entertained. He's got everything from levitating kids to disappearing kids to reappearing kids. It's crazy. But and we've got the Steve Sanders, that mentalist guy, which actually did this past weekend, and it was I have to say it was kind of cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to going to see the show. And then on Monday nights we've got the Outlaw Eagles. Larry Holiday, this guy's in that show. Larry Holiday and Georgina and the rest of the gang. I'll let him tell you about that. And then on Tuesday they've got CCR. Those shows are nominated shows as well for Best Tribute Show, Drummer, Guitarist, the list goes on and on. You need to check them out because they are what's going on. And on Monday and Tuesday nights in Branson, they are the thing to do. So get your tickets.
Yeah. You have a special project that you've been working on. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'd said earlier in the first half of the show that I had my first record, my first number one record. I've recorded a lot of records, but that was my first record that did anything back in 1993. Well, few months ago, I don't know how long ago it was now, a few months, we were asked to re-record a classic tune that Elton John made famous. It's called Something About the Way You Look Tonight. So we reworked the song, these guys with their help, and Robbie Springfield and Stuart Epps, Elton John's producer, and Clive Franks, Elton John's producer. We made the song our own. And it took on a whole new life, and it's turned out awesome. And it's coming out the second week of October, and it's coming out internationally, so I want you all to watch for that. And just so you know, I just signed every contract for the video on that with CMT, GAC, CNT, Circle, BBC, and Sky TV, including the one I talk about every week, Telemundo Television. So they're all signed, sealed, and delivered.
So that video will be showing up on hopefully those
everywhere,
places.
Everywhere. And I'd like you to speak about the show a little bit too, and the record and everything else.
Well, what's really cool for me is, if anything ever comes out of playing music in this town, I would love to end up doing some meaningful studio work. And we've got a couple of us have been recognized by Stuart Epps, and actually Robbie Springfield, the steel player, Hall of Fame steel player, is amazing. And he's been a mentor to me for many years. We've gained a little bit of recognition from over the pond, and we've been asked to do some more work for different projects. And I think for me, that's like, an honor.
That's the ultimate recognition.
Because it really did turn out good, and we all contributed to it. And Pete Generous helped on that too, if he's watching, from Springfield. But it's really, I'll be surprised. Not surprised. I am anxious to see how everything pans out after it.
It's going to be so cool. They hired the best of the best, man. They did not. We've got some of the biggest record promoters here in the United States and overseas. Lisa Davies, and you can look her up, just Google her. Lisa Davies is now our agent and publicist. She's the lady responsible for Michael Jackson's Thriller and Bad being the biggest records of all time, biggest selling records of all time, and many, many more, like Paul McCartney, Glenn Frey, Eagles. She's handled all them. And she sought us out after hearing it at Stewart's Theater. She called me at the house, and one thing led to another, and she signed us as all of us. So it's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. And I think, Branson's entertainment community is so talented. And I think sometimes in Branson, because we see so much entertainment, we take it for granted. And we don't realize how talented the entertainers are in Branson. And of course, that's part of what we're doing in this show, is just to say, man, there's so much history, there's so much knowledge, there's so much talent in our town. We want to share that with the world and let everybody know that. And so this is just, to me, it's just another example to validate what we've been saying. So.
Yeah, to follow up on what you're saying, I was so proud and privileged and honored and humbled, and every word you can possibly come to mind. When I won Entertainer of the Year over at the Branson Show Awards.
Well, congratulations.
And thank you. Mm-hmm. And by just the sheer fact of all of the entertainment in this town, and all the people that I look up to, and hearing your name called, and it's like, wow. And in fact, I'll just have to replay it a little bit. They called my name. They were saying and the nominees are blah blah blah, and the winner is, and they said, and I leaned over to my aunt like this, and I said, it's going to be blah, and they said Stevie Lee Woods. And I just sat there. My brother goes, "That's you."
Okay, folks, be sure to go see Nashville Roadhouse live at the Branson Star Theater. And if you're not sure where that is, just go to Olive Garden, and it's behind the Olive Garden. You can't necessarily see it real well from the road, but it is there, and it's been there a long time. And a lot of big acts have come through there. Everything from Mel Tillis to Shoji Tabuchi to Yakov Smirnoff. And now Nashville Roadhouse Live featuring Stevie Lee Woods and his band. Plus there's other shows there. So go check them out. You're going to have a rockin' fun time. I guarantee it. So we'll be back in just a minute to wrap up the show.
Thank you.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're wrapping it up today. Thanks for watching. Lots of good stuff coming out of Nashville Roadhouse Live and Stevie Lee Woods, and we're excited about his new project, and hopefully great things are going to happen there. Here's the deal. You have a few days left to catch the fall harvest at Silver Dollar City and the pumpkins in the city. You know, they've expanded that. So if you haven't been yet, go check it out. That goes through October 30th. And then they turn around and start doing Christmas. Tomorrow, we have the music of Billy Joel starring Michael Cavanaugh, October 27th at the Mansion Theater. The Gatlin Brothers are coming up October 23rd. We've got lots of things in November as well. Daniel O'Donnell will be back in town for a few dates. Tony Orlando, November 6th, always good to have him back. Rhonda Vincent, she's been on the show before. She's coming back. She's doing several dates starting on November 17th here in Branson. Guess what? Terry Bradshaw is coming back. He did a short run in August. He's coming back on November 26th and December 10th. We also have the Simon and Garfunkel story on November 26th and 27th. And then Disney Princess the Concert, December 1st and 2nd, as well as Home Free, December 9th. So those are some of our limited engagement shows. We like to let you know about those limited engagement shows. And then we have all of our other shows that are performing all year long, and so most of them will be going through the middle till end of December, depending on the specific theater or show. If you need help planning your Branson vacation, I know just the place. It's ibranson.com. You can book it all online, or you can call them at 1-877-ENTERTAIN. They can help plan your Branson vacation, and you can get your tickets for pretty much every show and attraction. A lot of them are discounted or special deals. They got some awesome vacation packages. You may want to check those out. And if you haven't, if you got an artist you would like for us to get on the show, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Play Branson. Send us a message and let us know, and we'll do our best to get them on a future episode of Play Branson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Play Branson.